The Athletics took a massive step forward in 2025. Led by rookies Jacob Wilson and Nick Kurtz, the Athletics are primed to take another step forward in 2026. A few small lineup tweaks and a revised pitching staff will take this unit squarely into the playoff conversation. And in this video, we'll cover all the moves the A's need to make to get back to October baseball. Hello, my name is Avery Taylor, and welcome to Rebuild October, a series where we rebuild every single team across the month of October. So whether you're looking for your favorite team or just generally curious as to how every team should approach the offseason, then this is the series for you. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get back into the video. As you can see from the war by position, it's pretty easy to see where things went south for the A's in 2025. Pitching, both bullpen and starting, were miles behind the offense, while second and third base remain the only real issues within the starting lineup. Being the Athletics means that we'll have to get creative with our fixes, and if you watched yesterday's episode, you'll know that means swinging a trade with the Minnesota Twins for Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan provides that top of the line stability that this team has desperately needed at the top of their rotation. Across the last two seasons, he has started in over 50 games and had about a 3.5 ERA. A strikeout to walk machine, Ryan gives the team a much needed frontline starter. In exchange, the Athletics will give up Gage Jump, the number 3 prospect in the Athletic system, and the 56th ranked prospect in baseball, as well as swingman Mitch Spence. The Twins will want a mix of future talent and someone to contribute to the current team. Jump crushed his first season of minor league ball, posting 26 appearances across high A and double A, posting a 3.28 ERA and striking out over 10 batters per 9 innings. He has good control with a plus fastball and developing off speed, and should make it to the majors by 2027. He'll be a tough player to let go, but someone who is high in value right now. Spence offers a more immediate return to Minnesota. If you watch the Minnesota rebuild, we saw Spence to the bullpen full time, where he was much more effective in 2025. This works as an added benefit for the Athletics, who clear up some of the young, unproven arms in the system. Keeping in mind the players who will be potentially leaving the team, the Athletics have a pair of impending unrestricted free agents. Jose Leclerc and Sean Newcomb are both names out of the bullpen that could find their way out of town, but despite their name values, the Athletics will keep Newcomb over Leclerc. Newcomb was great for the Athletics in his second stint with the club. In his 36 appearances for the club, he posted a 1.75 ERA, finishing off 6 games and collecting 2 saves. He did a great job of limiting hits and homers and was solid with the strikeouts and walks. In a bullpen that needs an overhaul, he is someone that should have a role to return to. Jose Leclerc, on the other hand, was extremely disappointing in 2025. He only made 10 appearances with a 6 ERA, and then had his season cut short due to injury. His injury timeline isn't super clear, and it'll be best for the Athletics to avoid the risk associated with Leclerc. Fresh faces that could impact the 2026 roster would have to start with the Athletics' number 4 prospect Brayton Nett, who's on the move from San Diego to the Athletics in the Mason Miller trade. He might not be the headliner of that trade, but Nett is still very intriguing. He has a big-time fastball, slider, and changeup, and could use that arsenal to find his way to the majors during the second half of the season. He should start the season in AAA, and if he can keep the walks trending in the right direction, he could crack the majors in the case of injury or get thrust into the bullpen. Another big name to keep an eye on is Henry Bolt, who also has some very loud tools. He has really good speed combined with a big arm, making him viable for all 3 outfield spots. Strikeouts continue to be a major problem for him, striking out over 32% of the time during his 34 games at AAA. It'll be tough for him to fight through the loaded outfield, but if he can fix some of the strikeout problems, then there's no reason not to believe in his game. The Athletics have a number of other prospects that will likely make their debuts in 2026. My personal favorite from that rest of the group is Daniel Susac, a catching prospect that showed promising things in AAA, and is someone who could find their way onto the roster fairly easy at some point in the season. For players returning to the starting lineup, the Athletics will keep things fairly simple, returning Shea Langoliers at catcher, Nick Kurtz at first base, Zach Geloff platooning at second base, Jacob Wilson at short, Brett Harris, who is solid in limited time, back at third, Soderstrom in left, Denzel Clark returning to center field as an excellent defensive option, and Butler in right with Brent Rooker at DH. The bench should look fairly familiar as well, returning Carlos Cortez, who figured something out at the plate in 2025, as well as Max Schumann as a utility option, with Austin Wynns as a backup catcher. With one spot left for the positional players, we'll have to turn to free agency. For the platoon in the infield, the Athletics will turn to Brendan Rodgers, who is quietly very solid against left-handed pitching. He might not be the player we hoped for when he was a prospect, but he is very solid as an under-the-radar platoon option for the Athletics that they can get relatively cheap. The rotation will return 3 names in the form of Luis Severino and Jeffrey Springs, who we need to see a big bounce back from, as well as Luis Morales, who was very good for the Athletics last year despite concerning underlying numbers. That leaves 1 rotation spot remaining for the team, where they will once again return to free agency. That's where they'll grab Nick Martinez. Martinez wasn't nearly as good in 2025 as he was in the 3 seasons prior. The homers and strikeouts both took concerning turns, but if he can bounce back, it'll be another nice, sneaky pickup for the Athletics. For the bullpen, there returned four regulars from 2025 and Hogan Harris, Michael Kelly, Justin Sterner, and Elvis Alvarado, who all performed well enough to earn a spot on the 2026 roster. For two of the final three bullpen spots, we'll move two potential starters down to relief roles in Mason Barnett and JT Ginn. Ginn, I'm particularly high on making this move. With his ability to get contact onto the ground combined with his K rate and solid walk rate, it's someone who has the makings of a really good pitcher. The final bullpen spot will require some money from the Athletics, going out and signing Kirby Yates, who might have higher name value than actual value at this moment. After coming off a really impressive 2024, 2025 just hasn't hit the same. He's still striking out a ton of batters, but he's been snake bit by the on the field results. Homers and hits have nabbed at the reliever all season, and his value is sinking. This could be a prime spot for the Athletics to grab a top end reliever on a cheaper deal. And that's going to do it for the rebuild. The new look rotation should provide more stability. It won't be the best rotation in baseball, but it'll certainly be closer to middle of the pack, especially if Springs and Severino can pull their weight. The bullpen also has a nice combination of 2025 performers and high upside pieces in 2026. All in all, it's an attempt to build up this pitching staff to the level to complement the high octane offense while under the budget considerations of the Athletics.